Volvo EX30. In ja, sej, mogoče je res videti kot pravi tipični Volvo, ampak ne, to je povsem nova zgodba. In to je seveda Volvo za vse tiste, ki Volva še ne poznajo oziroma tudi na nek način negirajo vse tisto, kar danes poznamo v današnjih avtomobilih. Namreč, kot dostikrat rečemo, ta avtomobil je računalnik na 4 kolesih. In seveda, zdaj vemo, kam ta avto paše. To je Volvo za Tesla generacijo. Če imamo računalnik na kolesih, to seveda pomeni, da moramo imeti takšno kartico namesto klasičnega ključa, pa seveda tudi to, da pred voznikom tukaj zadaj nimamo tistega klasičnega zaslona z merilniki. Se pravi, hitrosti, avtomobilske funkcije, klima, glasba, navigacija, vse je skrito tukaj. Preko tega zaslona celo nastavljamo vzvratna ogledala in pa odpiramo ta predal za rokavice.
Just as we, for a long time, have been obsessed by safety, so every small detail in the car is obsessed with small safety solutions, we have gotten our company into a sustainability and cost-focused mindset. That means if you look at the interior, you see a lot of smart solutions. One thing, as an example, you have a sound bar, one loudspeaker, rather than 5 or 6 different ones. That is lower complexity, lower cost, but also a better consumer experience and a lower CO2 footprint. So sometimes focus makes you innovate and makes you more creative.
Je pa takšna ureditev omogočila eno tako zelo tudi okoljsko zanimivo racionalno prednost, in sicer, da ta vrata nimajo več toliko kablov.
Torej manj kablov, nižja masa in nižja cena. Seveda, ko imaš veliko maso v baterijah, so vsi ti prihranki še toliko bolj pomembni. Poglejmo pa zdaj, kako je videti tisti najtežji kos avtomobila.
Lahko imamo 2 elektromotorja, enega spredaj za prednji par koles in pa enega zadaj za zadnji par koles, se pravi, da imamo tudi 4-kolesni pogon. Ampak tisto, kar je pa srce tega avtomobila, kar tudi na nek način zahteva vašo predhodno odločitev, pa je, kakšen tip baterije boste namestili v ta močen nosilec. Namreč, tukaj imamo lahko litij železo fosfatne baterije ali pa klasične nikel mangan kobaltove baterije. Litij železo fosfatne baterije so cenejše, so okolju bolj prijazne, zato ker ne zahtevajo tistih redkih kovin. So tudi bolj prijazne za uporabo, ker jih lahko popolnoma izpraznimo in pa tudi popolnoma do 100% napolnimo brez, da bi kakorkoli jih na dolgi rok poškodovali. Ampak manj zmogljive so, pa tudi zavzamejo več prostora. V ta isti prostor namreč lahko vgradimo tudi skoraj 500 km dosega, seveda s to klasično današnjo baterijo, in s tem dobimo tudi boljše zmogljivosti in pa hitrejše polnjenje.
Ne glede na vrsto gradnikov baterij pa Volvo zagotavlja, da boste dobili avtomobil, ki bo tudi Afriki prinašal zgolj dobro voljo.
For materials that come from how should I put it, more socially challenging environments. If we talk about some of the lithium and some of those materials, then we really want to make sure we know the source of those materials so that they have been handled in a socially responsible way. We have very clear policies around how you need to treat your labor, and you can't have child workforce, and you can't have forced workforce. Those, are key examples. And clearly that's something that our suppliers need to sign up to. Contract is contingent upon the fact that they are living up to it. So if they're not living up to it, they are in breach of contract, and we should terminate them. Then we source that, then we secure by tracking that, okay, all the material is actually coming from this mine and not a mine next door, which doesn't have those socially responsible measures in place. So this is a very, very important job. It's not easy. But we take it very seriously.
Od rudnikov naprej Volvo svoje kupljene surovine spremlja prek blockchain tehnologij. Seveda tudi zato, ker ima s temi nakopljenimi materiali velike načrte. Namreč želi jih imeti v svoji posesti tudi takrat, ko EX30 že dolgo ne bo več vozil po cestah.
To get into the climate neutral position in 2040, without having a much smarter recyclability approach will never happen. Production is important. Yes, in the manufacturing plants you want to have climate neutral electricity, which we have in all of our plants, but it's really the material that counts. So what material do you bring into the batteries, what material you use, how much recyclability do you have in the material? That's the key point. And traditionally the automotive industry has not been very good at engineering the car so that can be reused, because the reused value of the material is actually very high. But if you bond together different materials so they are hard to separate, then you cannot really reuse them, at least not at a high value.
Novi Volvo je torej že zasnovan s ciljem, da bo sestavne dele enostavno ponovno uporabiti v bistveno večji meri kot doslej. Ampak a to pomeni, da bo rudarjenje v prihodnosti nepotrebno, ker že danes kopljemo rudo tudi za avtomobile, ki jih bomo vozili čez 50 let?
Fundamentally, philosophically, yes. So we think, and that's something I'm driving very hard with in the engineering community, that we need to think about, the car as something that lasts forever and the recyclability of the material forever. And that total cost of ownership, not meaning how much does it cost me to have this car this year, but cradle to grave total cost of ownership, including recyclability. That's the mindset. This is a big topic for the whole automotive industry. Exactly the approach that will be used when this car is scrapped, which is hopefully 15 years from now. Whether that's going to be that you kind of physically take it down to black mass and separate it, or is it some other method, that's something that there's a lot of research and development, and I'm pretty sure the methods that will be available 15 years from now are much better than today. But that's something you really need to think through so you don't do stupid things as you design things.
V teh besedah se seveda čuti, da je v tem pogledu avtomobilska industrija še zelo na začetku. Ampak EX30 to usmeritev že danes pretvarja v korist za kupca. Pravijo namreč, da je to dostopen Volvo, ne samo zaradi nizke cene ob nakupu, ampak še bolj zato, ker naj bi bistveno bolje ohranjal svojo vrednost.
There are a lot of people who want to get into an electrified cars, but are looking for the price point where it's affordable. And this car is at a quite affordable price point. And if you do a little bit of depreciation of that over a few years, then you can really reach a very broad audience who really wants to come into a full electric car and wants to come into a Volvo.
Seveda, da bo Volvo lahko dobil nazaj svoje rude v baterijah, bo avtomobile ponujal tudi z naročnino. Na nekaterih trgih bo EX30 možno najeti že celo za manj kot 600 € na mesec. Ampak glede na znano dejstvo, da Slovenci te New Age finančne ideje sprejemamo ponovadi malce manj pogumno kot v zahodnejših državah, pa bo v Sloveniji EX30 vendarle še na voljo tudi klasično, torej da si ga kupite in na koncu tudi sami prodate. Seveda v obeh primerih ostaja vaša dilema, koliko konzervativni boste pri vaši izbiri, recimo glede barve.
Do zdaj še nikoli nismo dobili Volva v takšni limonasto-rumeni barvi. Danes je to pri tem malem avtomobilu mogoče.
Najbolj limonasto-rumen ali pa umirjeno skandinavsko pobarvan, Volvo EX30 bo vsak hip na voljo tudi v Sloveniji. Pa mimogrede, celo ta novodobni električni Volvo slovi kot vsi drugi modeli po tipično skandinavskem dizajnu. Pred leti so celo kot primer dobre prakse skandinavskega dizajna na dogodku Mesto oblikovanja v Ljubljani razstavili kot eksponat Volva XC60. Kako so takrat profesionalci dizajna razložili ta dizajn? No, kliknite in poglejte.